Hey y'all, welcome back to Rooster's Barbecue. I'm here with another brisket video, but this one I'm going to start a little bit differently, as in I'm going to show you how I trim a brisket so that you're not just trying to cook this thing without any kind of instruction. I kind of figured it out as I went. I got a lot of really good suggestions given to me by the competition cooking team Barrel Fever out of Evans, Georgia, who took third today and first in brisket in North Carolina at a competition. So kudos to those guys. I'm gonna trim up a brisket a little bit of every which way that I've been shown and kind of clean it up, and then we're gonna cook it, and then we're gonna eat it. I'm gonna just get started here. The first thing that you want to do is pat down your brisket to remove a lot of moisture. But if you see here, we got really thick, hard fat. And that's the stuff that's not going to render once we get up to temp. All this stuff, this soft fat, that's all delicious. So we're going to leave that be. But the harder stuff, I just want to trim off. You want a good sharp knife, and then you want to work it a little bit at a time. This is not something that generally goes very fast for me. So don't expect it to happen in 5 minutes. I take my time and just clean up these big chunks of hard fat until we got a much cleaner piece of meat to work with. And that's doing pretty good there. Just kind of work it. Yeah, that's looking good. So this is the piece of fat that separates my flat from my point. So it's kind of a seam that runs between the two pieces of meat that are crossed like that. And that's why fat is so heavy in that area, because it's basically spaced between two different muscles. But like I said, this is all the stuff that won't render down. This is the stuff that'll be nasty chunks of fat. If your wife's anything like mine, she doesn't want to taste big bites of fat. I don't mind it so much, but my cardiologist says I should trim down, and this is what I think he meant. So we're going to trim down a brisket before we eat it. All right, while we still got it on this side, I'm going to trim off this unsightly beef, which you can see is kind of brown right there. This brown meat here, I'll trim that down just so it's not so ugly. And I will do that along the whole edge there. And then up here, you see we got some more of that kind of unsightly beef. Clean it up. Yeah, see, it's looking like a much healthier brisket. And then we'll flip her over and take a look at what we're working with over here. Okay, so here's our fat cap. And if you can tell, it's about an inch thick there. and it gets to where it's a couple inches thick here. And I'm just gonna go through this and try to even it out to where it's all about a 1/4 inch thick. So I'll get started on that. Big old piece of fat right there. They say that they make the best burgers, the trimmings off your brisket. I have yet to find a grinder that meets proper cooking techniques. Okay. Well, we've got our fat cap down to about a 1/4 inch. Trimmed out any heavy fatty areas or that tough fat. We trimmed off unsightly beef. And now we're going to help ourselves out. So this is our flat right here, this piece of meat, and then this is actually our point. But when we're slicing, tomorrow we want to be slicing against the grain. And when this thing is all bark, it can be a little challenging to find the right grains to cut against. So I cut that little tip off so that I know when we're slicing it tomorrow that this is going to be our cuts. Alright, we're going to prep this thing for the smoker. I'm going to do a couple of things to this brisket. First one, I'm going to use my binding agent, which is just plain yellow mustard. It doesn't take much. Just going to cover my brisket with it. Oh yeah. That looks good. And my wife's birthday was this week, and she wanted to use a couple of different rubs, both of which are from Lane's Barbecue. I'm a member of their Pitmaster Elite, and they send me different rubs throughout the year. And this one is the 6th rub from last year. And I'm going to put out a little challenge to my subscribers to see if they can find out what was the name of this rub. So Pitmaster Elite number 6 from 2018. So that'll be the one we start with. And then we're also going to put on Lane's Barbecue Ancho Espresso. So that's an exciting rub. But yeah, check on Lane's Barbecue Pitmaster Elite number 6 from 2018. And as with any rub on a barbecue, you know, Rooster says go heavy. Let's get it nice and rubbed up. They call it a rub. I don't actually rub it. I do more of a patting technique, because the more I can get the rub to stick to my brisket, the more flavor we're going to get on it. Come back to that part when we flip it there. That looks good. Now we'll go with our Ancho Espresso. That's a strong coffee flavor there, baby. But what she wants, she gets. Alright, pretty happy with one side. Flip it over now. Ooh, this is a good looking brisket. Trimmed up, cleaned up, getting rubbed down. You know, when you're a backyard barbecue guy It's not every day you get to cook a brisket. So when you do, it's kind of a big deal. And I got 2 of these in the freezer besides this one, so I'm pretty stacked on brisket for a little while. I'm gonna try to make a video out of each one, you know, just do something a little different. Not much different in the cooking process because I trust my process really well. But different rubs, maybe different bonding agents. People are telling me to try oils and stuff like that. Or maybe I'll get some tips from those guys who took first in brisket this weekend and maybe do something close to what they did to do so well up there in North Carolina. That's a really good idea. Leave a comment if you think Barrel Fever should let me in on some of those trade secrets. Oh yeah, she's rubbed down nice. All right. She is rubbed down. That is one good looking brisket there. We're gonna do a fat cap up on this brisket and just let that fat soak through the meat. We're gonna cook it at 235 till we get an internal temperature of about 165, and then we're gonna wrap it until we get to 203. I'm not gonna do much to it when I wrap it. I'm just gonna get it in foil, wrap it tight, and get it back on the barbecue. And we'll see you out at the grill when we're getting this thing ready to go on. All right, we're back out here at Rooster's Pit with our beautiful whole brisket. Our RecTec bowl is set to 235, and we're gonna put this sucker on. I got 2 meat probes. There we are. I'm gonna let it cook at 235, let it absorb that smoke, and we're gonna wrap it when we get to about 165. Okay, so we had some technical difficulties with this brisket. It was done way before we had planned, but I got it wrapped when it was done, and put it, wrapped it in a towel and put it in a cooler at about 9 o'clock this morning. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I know a lot of people ask, like, how long is it good to keep a brisket in a cooler? You know, I'd say a little while. But man, look at that bark. Yes, this is a good looking brisket. I'm gonna get some gloves on. And we are gonna slice into this thing. Man, I'm hungry, I'm excited. Haven't had brisket in a couple of months. Really cooking a whole brisket. I got my handy Christmas present from my daughter, my Marico knife. Oh, she's soft. Yeah. And there she is. Here's our slice we did so we could identify how to cut against the grains last night. Let's cut into her. That's all smoke. Look at that. That is crazy looking. Look at that. So I've never cooked one this way where I just cooked it to 203 without ever wrapping it. But we'll see how this turns out. It looks really good. Let's give it a try. Yeah, it's almost got a little bit more texture to it and not as soft. It's still very soft. Oh my God, that rub. Pitmaster number 6. See if y'all can tell me what that was. Ancho espresso. Yeah, this is really good. All right. That about wraps up another brisket cook. We're gonna pig out on this thing. Give the brisket a try. Don't be scared of it because it's a big piece of meat. They're fun, they're easy, especially if you got a pellet grill like I got. You know, you can make big mistakes and still get the job done, but like fantastic barbecue. This is fantastic. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. We'll see you next time with Rooster's Barbecue.